Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So continuing on with this set of readings, it does feel a little bit like everything seems a little bit linked, but I'm reading for air sign energy and earth sign energy today, particularly Gemini and Taurus, because I've got this big mega deck at the moment. What have I done with it? Here, this big mega deck of all the character cards, and I've been asking it, who is this reading for? It's just my new way of doing it, and it spits out some cards, and we've got the Knight of Swords and the King of Pentacles. I'm a little bit tired. I've been out kind of going around the park and stuff today, so I am a little bit sleepy. I've had a lot of sunshine, so if you notice that I'm a little bit sleepy sounding, that's why. But I'm working tomorrow, so I really wanted to get this reading recorded because it could be somebody's reading, it could be important, especially with the Knight of Swords there, indicating communication or action. It's normally quite swift. So I do feel like a little bit time is of the essence perhaps with this reading. So I'm going to try and get it up tonight. And King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is normally somebody who is in a position to give. It's normally somebody who is kind of like the money man, the father of the house, a CEO, a husband. It's normally somebody who's very grounded, very skilled, very talented. They're in a position to give, right? They're in a position to decide who gets to work on a project. They're in a position to decide who gets the resources, who gets the funding. So they're normally in their position because they're very skilled and very knowledgeable. What I do want to say as well is we may also have some Aries energy in here, and maybe some Sagittarius or double Aries perhaps, because we've got the Emperor as well. But it feels more like these are people who are involved in this reading rather than who the reading is for, because I asked who's the reading for and we got these two cards. So the reading's for Gemini, Taurus. It does feel a little bit like there may be a connection with the Aquarius reading, because there was this whole thing about somebody who was being really tied up, right? Their hands were tied, and perhaps they were waiting for some kind of judgment or verdict. And in their reading, the underlying of the deck was this Knight of Swords that was kind of rushing in with the Justice card behind it to say, wait a second, here's more evidence, here's the here's the writ from the Queen to say that this person's been pardoned. It was like they were coming in with some kind of official information, right, or a contract or something like that, something legal, to say this person, like, it was like they were coming in to cut the hangman down, right, to free them. So they were coming in on the orders of somebody, right? And it does kind of feel like this Knight of Swords who's coming in to help the Aquarian energy of yesterday's reading is sent by this King of Pentacles. But there's something about this King of Pentacles where, I don't know, because the shield's on the back, right? They're facing away from them. It's like they're facing away from each other. He's shielded against him, and he's trying to look like he's got nothing to do with it, but his body language is facing that way. So it's almost like plausible deniability or something like this, right? It's like he's kind of either distracted, or he's not really interested, or he's pretending not to be interested when actually he's very much involved. In fact, he sent the order. So it feels actually like this King of Pentacles, because he's showing up as well on the bottom of this reading with a different image. So this King of Pentacles, because this looks really watery, it's almost like a mix of the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups has very, very deep emotions, and something about earth signs, even though they're earthy, they're grounded, they're of the physical realm, right? The practical, they show their love and support in terms of very practical ways. So putting food on the table, or, like actually making food for people, or, working hard to provide a solid foundation. So, the King of Pentacles, the way they love and show support and affection, and gratitude, it's normally very earthy based, right? It's like tangible. But the King of Cups is much more about emotions, so deep emotions, acting because they have deep feelings about a situation. And earth signs are very, very nurturing, especially, I mean, this is Taurus. King of Pentacles is Taurus, but I am getting kind of Virgo energy from it, or any earth sign really. It's this kind of like, it's like I work hard, I earn money because I want to support people. I want to give the people I love this sense of stability, right? I want to support people financially. So, but it is loving. So I don't know. It's like there are deep emotions here, but he's feigning disinterest or something. Also, this thing about him looking to the sky, like looking for the signs, looking for the higher guidance as well. So something like that going on. I randomized a song for this, and I got Together Forever by Rick Astley, which is funny to me because I'm going through a bit of a Rick Astley phase, excuse me. Sorry for the interruption there. So yeah, it's really funny to me that Rick Astley should come through because yeah, I'm going through a bit of a Rick Astley fangirl week because I play The Sims. A very popular simmer had Rick Astley on her stream, and yeah, I kind of fangirled quite a bit. I thought it was brilliant. The reason why I'm actually talking about that and bringing that into the reading is because one of the cards has gathering around the power of the community. Now, in that stream, they you know, it was a collaboration, and you know, the fans of these two people came together and donated a huge amount of money for charity. So it really is the power of community, right? The power of positivity in a community and the good it can do. So that's why I'm kind of mentioning that and bringing it into the reading, and obviously because the song randomized. But this King of Pentacles energy and the Emperor energy, right? Again, Emperor energy and King of Pentacles, both in a position of power, both in a position of influence. They get to make decisions, they get to offer opportunities, and the song starts with, if there's anything you need, all you have to do is say. So it's like, I am in a position to provide, right? So it could be that perhaps this King of Pentacles Emperor character, if it's the same person or not, whichever way you want to take it, has sent out a messenger. They have sent out this Knight of Swords to go and help somebody who feels very, very tied up, very in a sticky situation, was the way it came through. It's like all you had to do was say, and now I'm sending out the support, right? So it does feel like there is this the help of the community coming together to get somebody out of a sticky situation in some sort of way. So how do I explain this? Right, so I don't know who this Emperor is. It can be a father. Normally it's somebody one step higher. So because I'm reading for the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords, it could be that this is somebody's dad, somebody's boss, you know, a figurehead of some kind, you know, the person above. But it could also be the same person, right? Because the Emperor can act, he's all four kings of the tarot. So he acts in whatever energy he needs to act in at the time. And it's a very Leo Emperor. So even though the Emperor is normally Aries, Taurus, I mean, like I say, it could be Taurus. Both of these cards are Taurus. It could also have some Leo energy coming into it. Fours are about stability and foundations as well. So I'm seeing quite a lot of fours in this reading. So definitely somebody's foundation, somebody's stability, somebody's, you know, like the basic structure of their life, right? Or the basic structure of their work. I'm hearing reorganization. So that could be something that's happening for somebody. But again, it's like, all you have to do is ask and I can give you support. So this could be connected to, I think 2 readings ago I had an Aries and Taurus reading with the King of Pentacles and the Emperor in, so we could be back to that, especially with the tree. It's hard for me because I'm doing quite a lot of readings at the moment. I think with it being Cancer season, the veil's quite thin, right? The veil. And I get a lot of intuitive messages. I'm having a lot of dreams. Even though I was trying to have a break from reading, I keep getting pulled back in. What is it? I try to get out and they suck me back in, which is so funny because of what I'm actually about to tell you now. So this serpent and the tree of life. So there's quite a few different ways that I'm reading this. On one hand, it talks to me about branching out and putting your roots down, right? So this snake that's coming downwards is like, if you think of Kundalini energy, the basic meaning of this card, if you read the description, is a Kundalini awakening, which is kind of like a sexual awakening, an awakening of your inherent power, all 7 chakras coming into alignment. And yeah, and you know, you can activate that through meditation. So those of you who know my channel quite well know that when I meditate, I imagine this seed that starts in my chest, a seed of light, and it goes down through the soles of my feet, like roots, and up through my crown chakra, like branches. So I envision myself almost like a tree of energy, like the tree of life, right? So ta-da! It can talk about Kundalini energy. The energy that runs up and down the chakras is depicted in some cultures as being a snake that uncoils. So that's the true meaning of this card. And it is talking to me about this kind of reaching down energy, which with it, especially with it having the tree of life next to it, is talking to me about your roots, right? Tapping into your roots, tapping into your past, your ancestry, your stability, your foundations, the your subconscious, even perhaps, you know, your inner world, and then the branches above connecting to that kind of the guidance from the sky energy, right? Tapping into your future, to the potential, to the creation, to the new. And kind of being connected and allowing the energy to run up and down. On one hand, it's talking to me about that, you know, being able to stretch your energy out to greater heights, to a bigger sense of potential, you know, reaching your full potential. But it's also talking to me about a intuitive message that I had a few weeks ago. Quite a few intuitive messages that have been coming through about trees. So I know Libra at one point had this thing about two trees joining, as though, you know, like somebody's getting married, right? You join two, or somebody's having a baby, that baby's going to have the DNA of two trees, right? Two family trees coming together. So it's talking about this joining of two family trees. But Libra was doing this thing where if their growth was being stunted, if there was something in the way of the roots or the branches, they were growing around it, right? So there's this thing about being very flexible. And then at one point I had this thing about two trees. So the emperor tree, the oak tree, being very, very stable and firm. And visually I could see the feminine, so the empress energy, being this like flexible bamboo or willow like energy, or vine, which kind of was going up around the emperor and intertwining, and I was kind of seeing fingers like branches, right, intertwining, and, you know, the roots intertwining. So it's fascinating to me using this new deck, which when I get a new deck, I don't go through and look at every single card. I wait until the card wants to come out and speak to me. So this is the first time, I believe, unless I'm wrong and I've got a really bad memory, but I think this is the first time I've seen this card. And it's exactly what I visualized. So the roots are really, really tangled together. These two trees are intertwining, and then you have like the branches. So it was talking to me in one reading about like cross-pollination, how it's really important perhaps to have a big gene pool perhaps, or, you know, also how like apple trees and pear trees and things, they tend to actually have a like almost like a gender. So if you have one apple tree, if it doesn't cross-pollinate with another apple tree, it won't bear fruit. So you actually need two apple trees or more to be able to have the trees bear fruit, unless this is a specifically like grafted tree, and then some of them can self-pollinate. So there's something about that coming through. So I do feel like these messages keep on coming back around. But the way I'm seeing it today is two people. It could be connected to those previous readings. It could be a new situation coming through, because it is talking to me about two trees that are joined, right? Two individuals that are deeply wrapped up with each other. So it could talk about a long-term relationship, right? People who have laid solid foundations with each other, perhaps had children with each other, perhaps got married, perhaps you know, they could even be entwined in business together. So this deeply entwined relationship between two people. Now, it could be that there is some attempt to separate, and it could be that this has been attempted multiple times, because there are two snakes going off in different directions. And with the curliness of them, and with this showing me two different, like this is like two different energies. So it's sort of saying to me, there could be some attempt to separate these two people or these two family trees, right? to separate these two energies out into two individuals because they're so deeply entwined, perhaps. But the way I'm seeing it is almost like if you ever get, say for example, telephone wires, you know, the old fashioned curly telephone wires, if you get two of those together, they can kind of wind up around each other, right? So it's like and it could be talking about, because I'm getting a lot of biology, and at one point with these trees I was talking about chromosomes. So you know how DNA has two strands, so it's almost like the two strands of the DNA coming apart, but they keep coming back together. So something about that, like winding and unwinding, seems to be being communicated in these cards. I don't know exactly why. I hope I'm not touching on anything dodgy. I genuinely, if this is like ringing bells for you, I don't know what exactly I'm saying. I'm just reading the intuitive messages that come from the visual images of the cards, right, or the actual meaning of the cards. So I'm not suggesting anything, I'm not enforcing anything, I don't actually know what I'm saying. And it can be whatever comes through, because there's multiple viewers, people are going to view that through their own lens. So some people are going to take one thing from it, some people will take something else from it. It's how this works. So I just really want to kind of say that I'm not doing any, I don't know. I have like funny feelings about, you know, like genetically engineered humans and things like that. There's a big moral question over that, right? But it could be talking about, generally what I'm seeing is like these two energies trying to unravel, but also like continually raveling up. So it could be that somebody's trying to separate, right? It could be, I don't know, people who are trying to divorce, trying to separate, trying to stand on their own 2 feet, because perhaps they've become very codependent in some way. It could be that other people are trying to separate these people, but they keep coming back together. So it's coming through in a lot of different ways. But what does happen over here at this point in the reading, I am seeing these two trees standing separately and independently from each other, but in the same place. So it's almost like unraveling two energies, but these energies remaining parallel to each other. So instead of being codependent, they become independent, but on the same trajectory, perhaps. So what else am I saying here? So I'm actually just going to pause and get my thoughts back in order. Hold on. Okay, so these, I asked for clarification here because it seems very complicated and it seems very confusing. And it did come out with further confusion because it came out with the song Friends by Marshmellow and Anne-Marie, which is that, so it could be talking about two friends, right? Maybe they're not lovers, but maybe they're very close friends and they kind of, their lives are intertwined in some sort of way. Again, there's this sense of things being fated here. So it could be people who are saying we're just friends. So it's like, we used to be married, we used to be partners, but you know, we're just friends now, that's all this is. Or you know, maybe one person wants more from a relationship than the other, so it's like, we're just friends. You know, I thought I'd spell it out to you. Do you need me to spell it out for you? We're just friends. So I don't quite know how that's coming through, but it is coming through with friends. Also, because I was like, I need more information, I need more clarity here. I got Details by Maisie Williams. It's like, well, pay attention to the details, I guess. I don't know. So go and have a look at those songs if you kind of want to have a dig around in there and see if anything's for you. So then we have this Patience card, this Foggy Bog. So it does feel a little bit like being a little bit stuck in something, right? Really being, it does have this feeling of being intertwined, right? Two lives that have become very, very intertwined. And perhaps it is a bit of a boggy situation, right? A swampy situation where, you know, somebody perhaps wants to move on or perhaps wants to be in a different situation. When I clarified, I was still really confused by this. So somebody could feel very confused. It could be like brain fog or something. And I did ask for more information and I got Angels by Robbie Williams. I'm loving angels instead. And through it all, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. So it really is talking to me about that kind of mother, unconditional love of the mother energy that came in through yesterday's reading, which was very, very beautiful. So it could again be like somebody who's parents, because the family tree, the tree can be like the family tree, right? The ancestry. So it's like, you know, maybe somebody's passed over, you know, they are an angel now and you feel that unconditional love. And it's like, or it's like maybe somebody who has had some kind of Kundalini awakening or spiritual awakening. Maybe they're able to branch their energy higher into the heavens, so now they can connect with their angels, with their higher guidance. Or it's like, and again, it could be somebody who's leaving a relationship because perhaps it was codependent, perhaps it was toxic, and it's like, I'm only looking, like, I know what love is now, because that came through in one of the readings, and that's the vibration I'm looking for. I'm only going to give my love to people who are in a high vibration. Obviously, I wouldn't expect anyone to be perfect, because I don't, you know, we're humans having a human experience, but it's like, there's high vibrational people who do that shadow work and try and be good and try and be the best version of themselves, right? The most positive, light bringing version of themselves. And there's people who put a lot of toxicity into the world and they project onto others. You know, they expect other people to fix all the problems for them without taking any ownership of it. And that's really quite low vibrational behavior. We really have to learn to, you know, working with others, working closely with others, being tied up with others. There's nothing wrong with that. In the first reading that I had, where I saw these two trees intertwined, it was really supportive, right? It was really positive. It was like yin yang, like masculine, feminine, yin yang, supporting each other to grow higher, right? To reach further and to feel the way. And that was incredibly beautiful. So there's nothing wrong with having a relationship where, you know, there's a lot of like co-support, but codependence is not as good. You know, it can become quite toxic. So just however that kind of vibrates for everybody. So for some of you, it is this case of, I keep trying to separate, but like we're so intrinsically tied up together that it's really hard to kind of separate one from the other. It's really hard to kind of like pull ourselves apart. I have this thing about, like, it's almost like the angels are coming in to help you, or the spirits are coming in to help you. It's like this, all this support is coming in. And now there's something really strong about butterflies. So huge amount of Gemini energy in here, because butterflies symbolize Gemini energy for me. So the first butterflies we really have are here. So it's like, again, it's like either something being shook, like this tree being shook and all these butterflies coming out. So they're coming out from the roots and they're coming out from the branches here. I don't know if you can see that. You know, the ancestors from the past, the ancestors from the roots, and the spirits from the future, right, who haven't perhaps even been born yet. So this kind of, if you want to see it this way, like the past and the future, is like the past spirits coming to help and the future spirits coming to help in this moment where somebody needs help. So it's like this whole support team, again, because you remember you've got, again, another butterfly here and all these winged fairies. You've got this gathering around the power of community. So it could be that there's some kind of summons that's happened, right? So this King of Pentacles, this Emperor, maybe somebody called Emma, somebody's put out a summons, right? Somebody's put out a messenger, come to the meeting place, come to the gathering spot. I want the whole community, everybody to show up. This is my command, right? And so it's like everybody hears this call and goes to this place, or starts to head towards this place. And this kind of comes out over here as well. So this gathering, this it's almost like a calling in the community to come and help with whatever this is. Again, I don't know how many people are involved, so it feels really complicated. Soul retrieval. So this is talking to me. So sometimes I might see this as the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis, right? So I do feel like somebody is having a spiritual awakening. Somebody is able to reach higher than they could before. Somebody is really kind of doing that shadow work, really connecting with that kind of higher vibrational energy, whether you want to call it God, you know, your 5D, the universe, your spirit guides, your angels, whatever you want to call it, right? And again, Robin is a messenger from spirit. I saw a lot of Robins today while I was out. So it could be somebody really coming into their full authentic version of themselves, because a few of these cards talk about authenticity, especially with the Emperor. The Emperor tends to be very authentic. So it's like this this unfurling, which is a beautiful imagery that came through in yesterday's reading, with this kind of, it came through with somebody who perhaps had intentionally kept themselves very small and boring because that's what was expected of them, but inside them there was like this big elaborate performer who was waiting to come out, right? So it's almost like it was coming through with perhaps a drag queen, and you know, coming out, literally coming out and like being in full costume, right? Full makeup, sparkles, glitter, sequins, bright colours, you know, like dramatic clothing, maybe a cape, big hair, feathers, you know, somebody really coming out in their full regalia. So it doesn't have to be that, but it's talking about that kind of like letting your soul shine, reclaiming your soul, remembering who you are as an individual on this planet, and really kind of like coming into your own, really having that awakening, having that reveal of, not even if it's just to yourself, right? Even if it's just looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing yourself clearly for the first time and being like, I know who I am, right? I see my own true colors. I see I see the 5D version of myself. I see the, you know, what my future can be. I can see my potential here, and then going into it. But it's also showing me like, this is one of the helpers, right? This is one of the spirits coming in to help you to do this, to assist you to do this. Because it's almost like whoever I'm reading for, it's like they're inside this cocoon. Because can you see this heart inside the cocoon? It's like, this shows up later in the reading. It's like, there's a soul in here. There's a soul in here that needs to be broken out, right? To be broken out of its shell, so that it can also be like one of these beautiful butterflies, to be part of this community, right? So it's really, really high vibrational and beautiful. I like this reading a lot. So the power of community. So it could be talking about you know, in your time of need, your friends rushing in to help you, you know, your soul companions, you know, the people who are like you, the people who are part of your community, the people who share, you know, the same colors as you, really coming in to be like, you know, one of our own needs rescuing here, one of our own needs support. Let's get them out of this situation. Let's get them, you know, let's bring them to this better place, to this sanctuary. So it's really, really very cool. We do have this patience though, and this shows up over here as well with, so we've got patience with this stalk. It could be talking about like children as well, patience, a stalk, two trees coming together, double helix, all that kind of stuff. But here as well, this rabbits also symbolize pregnancy. So it could be the germination of your potential. It could be the germination of a project. It could be something coming to full fruition, but it takes time, right? But this rabbit here also has this hourglass. So definitely something about patience and timing. But then it does feel like the message comes in, right? With the messenger of fire. And this is the Knight of Wands. So this is like a passionate message. This is something to be excited about. And it's like with this messenger of fire, then we get this wave coming in, because we have ride the wave. So it's like being with a companion, being with a like-minded person or like-minded people, being with that best friend, and kind of like just being swept along by the emotions of a situation. So a lot of this kind of sweeping, passionate, like fun and enthusiastic energy here. Like it's like love, right? It's like passion and love, and that doesn't have to be romantic. It can be friends who just get excited about the same things, right? Who love what they do. So we have this kind of sweeping along now energy. It's like waiting for the right tide to come in, waiting for the right wave to come in, and then really enjoying it, because the Rainmaker kind of always tells me, like, to me, it's like dancing with your emotions, like being very free. It's almost as like coming out of the chrysalis. Excuse me, so sorry. Like feeling the wings at your back, feeling, you know, flexing out to be your full potential as kind of like an earth angel, right? And with the rain, it's like emotions, right? So it's like dancing in the storm, like being very free, being very wild, being very swept up with the emotions of a situation, is the way it's coming through there. But there's also this other energy. So again, it's like there's two, because it's like two people here, there's two people here, there's two people here, right? So maybe two really good friends, like somebody trying to break something out here. It's like two, right? going along on this ride together. So here you can just about see, and there's like a figure here as well, right, with another heart. So as we had like these two energies here, like here's one of the hearts and this is the other energy. It's like we have them here again, right, with the two hearts, and they're coming from very different places because we have many paths, right, and the Rainmaker is saying this is somebody who comes from maybe a very wet place, and this is somebody who comes from a very dry place. So it could be somebody who's over emotional and somebody who is perhaps lacking emotional connections, right? So perhaps or it could be like literally like their environments. But either way, it's telling me these two people could be very, very different, and they're coming from different places, different perspectives, different backgrounds, because we really have this kind of like yin yang emperor energy, why can't I say it? Empress energy coming here. So this kind of yin yang thing, right? And there's this wonderful thing about, it's like, just go with it, just ride the wave, and it could be a kind of clumsiness, right, at first. I don't know if these two energies are kind of coming together and meeting for the first time, and it's going to be a little bit awkward because, again, it's like they're coming from different places, they're coming from different backgrounds. I'm also seeing this here as well with sanctuary. It's like everybody hears the summons, right? Everybody is going to the same place. Everybody receives that exciting message, and they all go to that place. And then when they get there, because they've all come from different backgrounds, different paths, like when they reach that place of sanctuary, they're all very different, right? They're different characters. They're not, even though they perhaps have shared values, like this is a place of sanctuary for them. This is a place of rest. This is a place of really being authentic and individual, and you know, representing their family tree perhaps in some sort of way. It's a place where you feel safe. It's a place where you feel like you belong, right? Even though you come from different backgrounds, you feel like you belong there. Sanctuary. Maybe you're going to go into France or something, I don't know. But it's like, so it could be some clumsiness, right? It could be some clumsiness. Like if this bear and this rabbit tried to dance together, you know, there could be some, like a difference of frame, because it's like, how do I explain this? With the numbers, like 34 and 42, it's kind of like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, right? So it's almost like learning to dance, like learning the footwork of the situation. So again, I don't know if somebody is learning like ballroom dancing or something, because that keeps coming through. But it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2. It's kind of got a pattern to it, but it's kind of awkward, right? It should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's got this 2 steps forward, 2 steps back thing to it. So and then again, this is like dancing, right? So it's like, I don't know, it's like there's many options here, there's many choices that we could have, there's many different people from different backgrounds, but it feels exciting. So with this sanctuary and this place of rest, right, this place where, again, it could be like a retreat, like a spa day, but it's, you know, or maybe it's like yeah, some kind of retreat of like-minded people, but you come from different backgrounds, but it's like, you know, on an energetic level that you all belong here, you all have shared values. Could be something like that. Then we have this forgiveness, repairing the veil. So this card's confusing me a little bit. I'm not quite sure what it's trying to tell me, but again, we've got another butterfly because there's butterflies all over this. A lot of gold as well, just to kind of like make note of how gold all this is. So again, real full potential energy, golden shadow energy, just beautiful, like here as well. So again, it's like your spirits, because if this is like, if this is like a close-up, right, this is like if you zoom into the roots and you really see the these creatures, these friends, these energies, perhaps these spirits who are coming to help you and assist you, it's like even though maybe you can't see them with the naked eye, it's like their energy is completely surrounding you, because look how many, like look how many there are, right? Look at all these butterflies, look at all these. It's like you're completely surrounded by this. So, and it could be, again, it could be like they're assisting you to open up your crown chakra, to light up your crown chakra and feel and to receive this divine inspiration of where you need to go. So I'm not sure about repairing the veil, but it is coming through forgiveness. And there's been a lot of stuff in my readings, especially with the roots and the ancestry, of learning to forgive your ancestors, learning to forgive people for not being perfect, right? Learning to forgive people because they're just human at the end of the day. And, you know, we're all doing the best we can with the toolbox we're given, you know, with the situation we're given. And sometimes we make bad choices, and sometimes people can be bad people. But a lot of the time there's a lot of situational stuff that comes along with that, right? There's a lot of stuff to do with society, to do with I don't know, socioeconomic status, to do with their own parents and their own life opportunities and their own, you know, the things that they were shown were right and wrong, right? So there's a lot of compassion and understanding that we can have for the past when we recognize that, do you know what, their situation was different than ours, and when we understand a person's situation more, we can have more sympathy for them. And sometimes it's forgiving the self, right? So forgiving yourself for things that went on in your past that you have a lot of guilt over, because you recognize that, you know, at the time that was the best you could do in that situation. That was, you know, the knowledge that you had at that time, perhaps your age, you know, the toolbox that life had handed to you. I don't know, the amount of stress you were under, the amount of guidance you had. It's like you did the best that you could at that time. You know, that was all you could do. And forgiving yourself for those moments where you were human, right? You made mistakes. And the thing is about the Emperor as well, like, you don't become the Emperor if you don't make mistakes, because the Emperor is all four kings of the tarot. And to be the King of Wands, you first have to be the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. And the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands is very impulsive, and they're going to make mistakes, right? They're in the learning about the passions. So, you know, particularly the more passionate pages and knights, to become the King of Wands, you have to make those mistakes to really understand what you want, what are your desires, what are your passions, what do you need, and to get self-control over that. So the Emperor has made mistakes, right? So nobody's perfect, everybody's fallible, everybody's made mistakes, everybody's doing trial and error. And when you recognize that about yourself and others, it's much easier to forgive people, because you see them as human and fallible, and we all are, right? So don't expect people to be perfect, because perfection is a lie. What's important is that when we make those mistakes, we grow from them, right? We become better humans. It makes us more aware about who we are and how we play roles in the world and how this affects others. We're all learning, right? That's literally the reason of being a human, like the point of being a human on earth is to learn. So I don't know, repairing the veil, whatever that is, forgiveness. I'm sure if this is your reading, you'll know what that forgiveness is. But this releases you, right? This releases you to really get on that higher path and that higher plane, because it's written in the stars, it's fated. And remember that this guy's been looking up there at the sky all along. He's, you know, they're all looking to the future. And it could be something as well here and here, because I was kind of seeing it like maybe father and daughter. This tends to be Aries Sagittarius for me. Aries Taurus, Aries Sagittarius, maybe father and daughter. And just remember as well, like, you can switch and reverse it at any point. So gender is very fluid in my tarot readings. Very rarely is it a specific sex or gender. So even though it's an Emperor, females can be in Emperor energy. You know, people who identify as male can be in this, well, normally is a male on the Knight of Fire. So just know that you can flip and reverse it if needs be. It's more about the energy of the character of the person. It could be because we're continually growing and continually learning. So even though the Emperor is somebody who's kind of at the top of the game, the more you learn, the more you recognize that you've got more to learn. So it's like the Emperor is going to get very bored. It's a very active energy, and they're going to get very bored if they're just sat there kind of on the throne all day, right? Doing the same kind of paperwork, the same orders, the same decisions. You know, the Emperor was once a warrior. You know, they've been the Nine of Wands, which is the warrior card. They've been the wounded warrior. They've fought to get to where they are. They've worked hard to get to where they are. Anyone who hasn't worked hard to get to an Emperor position is going to be an Emperor in reverse, because they haven't learned the lessons, right? So an Emperor in the upright, very, very high vibrational. And they are going to get bored if they're sat there in the same routine all the time. They want to keep learning. They want to keep developing. They want to keep growing. They want to keep branching out, right? So again, this could be kind of stunting the growth, whatever this is. I know there is this reaching energy, right? This reaching full potential, like reaching full growth, reaching full height. So it could be that this Emperor is going back into a trial and error phase, right? Back into, okay, I achieved everything I wanted to achieve. What do I want to achieve now? What's next for me? What am I passionate about now? Like, what do I want to pour all my energy and focus into now? What new thing can I go out there and experiment with? You know, they want that trial and error. They want the excitement of figuring something out and figuring something out that they're really passionate about. So again, it could be the Emperor going into kind of almost like a new childlike phase of development, of experimentation, which is good, it is healthy, because you don't have growth if you don't have experimentation. You have stagnancy, which is here, right? The boggy swamp, the foggy bog, that's stagnancy. But again, being patient for this. So we end up with this fabulous skywriting. It's written in the stars, and it's what's written in the stars is that somebody's going to have this rebirth. They're going to have this transformation, and it's so beautiful that we end with the butterfly spirit, right? So it's like, and it's so beautiful because it's like Aphrodite coming out of her shell. So it's somebody who's kind of like being born again, going through a rebirth in their life where, you know, they're coming out even more beautiful and even more confident and even more free and expansive than they were before. It's like the patience is just the development phase, because, you know, that pearl isn't going to grow overnight. It needs time to really kind of shine. They're telling me it needs time to shine. So maybe it is somebody's time to shine. And just look at the like, it's so fascinating, like using cards from different decks and then having so much synchronicity, like especially with the butterflies throughout these decks. And then look at these two, so completely different decks. This is let me just double check, because again it's a new deck. So this is from The Shaman's Dream by Colette Baron Reid, and this is from The Sacred Forest Oracle by Denise Lynn. Two completely different artists, two completely different authors, two completely different decks. And just look here, if you look really closely, you can see her manifesting. So she's got this, like, you can see especially like her legs, this little fairy, it's like a little Tinkerbell, right, with this pearl in her hand. Can you see it, the orb in her hand? And then she's here, like, look at her legs are in the same pose with the orb in her hand, with the pearl in her hand. So it's like, what is written in the stars, what is manifesting, the ideas, the daydreams, is manifesting. It's gonna be birthed, right? It's gonna be it's gonna manifest in a more 3D way. And there's something as well about this little Tinkerbell flying off here as well, this cheeky one down here. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's really, it feels really, really high vibrational. Again, I don't know if it's something like trying to perhaps find some individuality and create some space so that two people can stand tall in their own right and not be codependent, but, you know, do something side by side, which again is very high vibrational Emperor and Empress energy. You know, they collaborate, they work together, they cooperate, but they are two very strong individuals in their own right. You know, two very high vibrational individuals in their own right. So it could feel like, because I had this thing about like as well, like this strike. So there was this thing about the tower, like the trees being hit, this lightning strike, and it was like an intended strike that was striking right down to the roots, right, to really divide two people, to really pull two people apart. It was like a forced separation or something, or a sabotage or something in one of my readings. I can't remember which one now. I think it could have been the Aries Taurus reading, or was it like Capricorn? Yeah, it was the Capricorn reading, because I remember I had all the different cards and they had like the spider web thing. So there was one of the readings that had Capricorn in the title, and I think it could have been Taurus as well. I don't know, I've done so many readings, it's really confusing. Yeah, it was like this lightning strike right down to the roots, like a double strike that was really intended to kind of separate these two energies. But it was like all that happened when these two energies were separated, when these two trees came apart, like the two telephone wires, right? It was like they were coming back together. It's like all that the strike did was create space so that the light could get down to the smaller plants, and there was this very rapid growth back together. It's like really just completely entangled. So I don't know if this is like a separation to come back together. I don't know if this is something where it's like, you know, a divorce, but these two people remain friends, and, you know, they work better as friends than they ever did as lovers. But again, I don't know. The dolphins symbolize lovers, so I don't know. But yeah, again, it's like this drawing back together. See, maybe that's why that's there. This, you know, even though this strike has happened, even though this tear's happened, even though this separation's happened, it's getting, perhaps these two people had an argument, and perhaps it was a very dramatic argument, right, which is why they had to separate. But, you know, they learned from it, and they developed, and they grew in the separation, and now they're, you know, coming back together even tighter than they ever were before. Perhaps the situation is transforming. I want to say, don't go back to a toxic partnership, and if that's your situation, you know that's your situation. You know, if you need space, you need space. But yeah, forgiveness, and then this massive transformation. So really interesting reading. I got a song for Butterfly Spirit and Transformation, and I got Believe by Cher. Do you believe in life after love? What is it? I feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough. No matter how hard I try, you keep pushing me aside. So again, like that Friends song, it could be unrequited love. No matter how hard I try, you keep pushing me aside. Well, I can't break through. There's no talking to you. I need time to move on. I don't know. But also, what was the other song? This is a bit of a funny one. So Repairing the Veil came through with So Thick, Whipped Cream and Baby Goth. Which is talking about, it's like, I stand on my own 2 feet, I make my own money, I've got diamonds on my wrist, I've got diamonds on my neck. You know, you're going to watch on the sidelines while I'm kind of up on stage. You've got your 5 minutes of fame, but I'm the, you know, main act. So it kind of has this like, watch me transform, watch me fly, watch me be this brilliant version of myself without you, right? Life after love. So I don't know, take it if it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. I'm gonna get some songs on camera as well. Well, off camera, but while I'm here on camera, you know what I mean. So let's see what we get. Just pulling up Spotify, so just kind of show you. You've got Angels there, Robbie Williams. Confirmation for somebody. So what is this reading all about? So anybody who's watching this reading at this point and really feeling a connection to it, anybody who's sat there going, yes, this is my reading, yes, 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 I'm sure this is my reading. What do they really need to know? What's the light bulb moment? Hate Me If It Helps by Alexander 23. I wonder if your therapist likes me. I guess it depends on how much of the truth you tell to her. And I wonder if your brother wants to fight me. Would he change his mind if he saw his big sister at her worst? So tell your friends I'm evil. Write songs that say I suck. And roll your eyes when people ask about us. You can hate me if it helps. Make me out to be the villain. Say you're better by yourself so it feels like your decision. You can tell them I'm the bad guy if it helps you sleep okay, because all you want is closure but there's nothing left to say. Do you wonder if I'm with somebody new now? If her clothes are in the drawer you used to take up in my room? Yeah, I bet you think I never think about you anymore, and God, I wish that were true. But I tell my friends I miss you. I write songs about how much. Yeah, I know we've had our issues. So if you want, you can hate me, make me out to be the villain, because all you want is closure, but there's nothing left to say. I'm sorry I stayed up with you every night for making you laugh when you wanted to cry. I'm sorry I paid for your SSRIs, I don't know what that is, for making you happy. I apologise. I'm sorry if I put you in front of my friends. Yeah, my bad, forgiving you for what you said. So go and be angry, but you can't pretend, because you know that you never would, because I know that you never could. Yeah, I know, but you can hate me if it helps. Okay, so I don't know, that was a pretty, okay. Okay, it's like, I'm better off without you. So if, you know, and I'm upset that we broke up, but do you know what, if it makes you feel better to pretend to be the good person and make me out to be the bad person, and, you know, tell the therapist your side of the story, not my side of the story, like I'm the bad guy, then do you know what, that's what you're doing. I don't know. I don't know. But also remember the key word, forgiveness, right? If you really want to move on, you have to forgive somebody to get over them. Just saying. Maybe somebody's called Alexander. Maybe somebody's 23. Okay, so I think we need advice. So whoever this reading is for whoever really resonated with that, please. Anyone who this reading is for, can we get them some just the best advice that's going to be really clear and really helpful. Sway with me. You've got 2 songs from Birds of Prey, by the way. So that Whipped Cream song was from Birds of Prey, and this is as well. Sway with Me by Sorwichi and Galaxara. When the rhythm starts to play, dance with me, make me sway, like a lazy ocean hugs the shore, hold me close, sway me more. I love that. Flashing lights of devotion, circling in slow motion, I kiss the lips of a potion, and now I'm out in the open. So follow me into the dark, break up a piece of your heart, sell it for money and cars, come out wherever you are. My motivations are, all my temptations are, my heart is racing with sensation, it's sensational. I whip my diamonds out, so quite a few references to diamonds. My time is timeless now. I'm feeling so supersonic. I tried to stop, but I just can't stop it. Dancing in the flames. I don't know. It sounds like go out dancing. Go out dancing. Do you know, especially if this reading is for the same person who I was channeling yesterday, where it was like, do you know what? If you want to be Billy Elliot, if you want to be a flamenco dancer, you go out and be a flamenco dancer, right? You go and live your best life. If you want to take ballroom dancing lessons, you go and take ballroom dancing lessons. Like, that's the way it was kind of coming through. Yeah. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. It just feels like, especially with whipped cream as well, it just really feels like go out and have a good time, right? Go out and remember what makes you so awesome. You know, get some new clothes, get some new makeup, get your hair done, get your legs waxed, get all the things waxed if you're into that, you know, and be like, just rebirth yourself as like the person you've always wanted to be, and go out looking fantastic, remembering that you're strong, remembering your own value, right? And forget about them, right? You don't need them. You didn't need them anyway. I don't know. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. Please take care of yourselves. I think there's a lot of trouble like in this reading, right? It's somebody who's coming out of a very difficult, entangled situation, but it looks like you're going to fly, right? It looks like you're going to spread those wings and fly and let people help you. If there's people in your community trying to help you, if there's people, friends, you know, even if it's like your angels, your soul tribe, get into that high vibrational energy, because it's you know, it's fated. It's fated. All right, do take care of yourselves. Hope that was helpful. I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.